A very good morning to everyone, and thanks for joining us this morning for what I think promises to be a very informative and a very thought-provoking day. We have a wide range of delegates with us today from all over the north of Scotland, representing many different areas of work. The fact that people are prepared to travel such a distance on a Friday to be with us is extremely encouraging, and I think it highlights everyone's commitment to improving outcomes for the children and young people that we serve. So a very warm welcome to you all. Today we're looking at the impact of neglect within rural communities and what we can all do to make a difference. There are particular challenges for us who work in rural communities, from practical issues such as, for example, the lack of transport to enable families to access services, to larger, more strategic issues such as the current financial climate and the integration agenda. And perhaps these latter two issues I just want to say a little bit more about. We should reflect on what is going to be a hugely challenging agenda for us all over the next few years. Scottish Government spending between 2012 and 2014-15 is actually going to reduce by £1.5 billion. So that's going to affect the services that councils provide directly and those services that we commission through our partners. Welfare reform is also going to see a minimum of £1.6 billion taken out of the Scottish economy. And that's going to impact on some of the most vulnerable members of our communities. And at the same time, we're witnessing, I believe, the biggest change in public service in a generation. With the forthcoming integration of health and social care, the increasing shift towards a single service for children, and that's taking a different form in different parts of the north of Scotland, and the emerging criminal justice reform agenda. I think they all herald very real opportunity for far more integrated and seamless working, but also if they are not managed in properly and having a read across between these different strands, there is a potential fragmentation and a fracture between adult services and children's services that we need to guard against. So yes, a very challenging and exciting context, and I think events like this are so important to ensure that we target our skills, our diminishing resources, and our resolve to support those who depend on us most. Our programme today will help us to start thinking through some of these issues about how we can improve our services. And it'll cause us, I think, to reflect, to consider further how we can do what we can to mitigate any of the potential problems I've just outlined, but also in ways that we can embrace the opportunities that this reform agenda presents us. Because I think there are real opportunities to address some of the anomalies that have frustrated so many of you for so long. And I think to a large extent, things are not prescribed by government. There is a lot of local flexibility in how we can respond to that agenda. And I think there are real possibilities that we can rise to the challenge and do something rather special. And events like this can help be a catalyst for that. Okay, just to talk a little bit about what we're doing today. Cheryl and Jane, who are joining me and over to my right, will set the context by highlighting key messages from very recent national research carried out by Action for Children. It's good to welcome them both back to Moray as they visited us in October of last year to conduct a number of focus groups for this research, and we'll hear the outcome of that shortly. Our workshops will focus on projects that have been delivered at a local level, and I'm sure people will look forward to hearing that. We welcome Katrina Riach from Perth and Kinross, who will look at the development of a multi-agency team consisting of health, childcare social work and the adult care drug and alcohol team, which provides intensive family support and assessment for children pre-birth to 8 years old who are affected by parental substance misuse. The model used is underpinned by adult attachment theory and draws on research about the impact of delay in decision-making on infants' life chances, about how to engage positively abusive parents and to develop interventions to improve parenting capacity. We are particularly pleased to have two workshops presented by Moray practitioners, and both these projects have recently been shortlisted for national recognition, so very well done to the staff concerned. Gretel and Nicola are talking about the Before Words project, which offers parents accessible and clear information. From week 12 in pregnancy to the toddler stage of joining words together, the cartoons and simple captions in the 4 publications offer information and guidance to parents about helpful ways to understand and support their child's developing communication. The resources encourage the development of positive attachment and bonding in conjunction with positive interaction. Suzanne, over in the corner there, will introduce you to the Positive Wiring, Positive People project, which is an educational resource to raise awareness in a proactive way about the effect of abuse and neglect on brain development in unborn babies and their early years. All these workshops contribute to the early years, early intervention agenda, working with people at different life stages, and it's crucially important that we invest upstream to really have an impact and make a difference. This afternoon we'll hear from James McTaggart, a colleague from Educational Psychology in Highland. James's presentation is intriguingly entitled Neuropsychology, Neglect and Not Being Helpless, and we look forward to hearing more on that subject in a little while. And our final speaker today is Dr. Jonathan Sher. A warm welcome, Jonathan. Jonathan's the Scotland Director for the Wave Trust. We recognised when today was being organised that we needed to have someone very special to hold delegates to the end of the event, and Jonathan, I'm sure, will fit the bill. In terms of the title of Jonathan's input this afternoon, Preventing, Not Just Lamenting Rural Child Neglect, I'm sure that that will give us a lot of food for thought, and there'll be a lot of discussion and questions that will arise from it, Jonathan. Jonathan has recently been appointed as the Scotland Director of the Wave Trust. One of his roles is to take the lead for Wave's 70-30 report and campaign, which seeks to reduce child maltreatment, including abuse, neglect and witnessing domestic violence across the UK by 70% by 2030. From 2005 to 2012, Jonathan was Director of Research, Policy and Programmes at Children in Scotland. And while with Children in Scotland, Jonathan was in charge of all policy analysis and governmental influencing work, including a variety of services and special projects. His research includes fetal alcohol harm, pupil councils throughout Scotland, grandparents as carers, child safety in terms of injury prevention, preconception health, parental and pupil views and experiences with additional support for learning, parental views on child health and parenting information, out-of-school care in disadvantaged areas of Europe, education of homeless students and adolescent males who are troubled and are in trouble. So a fantastic programme that we have today. I'm sure you'll look forward to hearing from our speakers, and I expect you to actively debate in the workshops a whole range of issues. And I'm sure at the end, in the summing up, there'll be a number of questions that you will want to pose to myself and some of the speakers, and we'll be happy to do our very best to answer your questions. But don't be passive recipients of discussion. I know you've probably had a very long week and you're getting away from the day job to here to listen, to learn and to contribute. Please actively contribute to the discussion, because this is about shaping tomorrow today. So enjoy the conference and see you later on.